Hi there, I'm Bubba. The date is June 10th, 2020. A 15-year-old me wants to make video games, but programming is too hard. So I purchased Rpgmaker MV for $84.47, thinking that it would be easy to jump right into making my dream RPG, with almost no research on the engine at all. I proceeded to work on this game with my best friend Bits for 4 years straight, and then my hard drive got encrypted by BitLocker. I lost over a year of work. The game was absolutely horrible, but it hurt bad, so I abandoned the project entirely. Now with 5 years of experience, a new engine, and the ability to program, we're ready to tackle this project one final time. Evosky is a top-down adventure RPG where you embark on a quest to stop an evil cult and its fierce leader. It features character customization, main and side quests, unique weapons, armors and items, a magic system, and a fully fledged story. Because our game studio has a total of 2 employees, the scope has to stay small, so we're avoiding anything that would bloat the game to hell. The first couple days were spent drafting the story and creating the core boilerplate. Just look at that beaut. If you couldn't tell from the giant icon, I'm using the Godot game engine, my favorite engine of all time. Why didn't I keep using Rpgmaker? Well, 1, I don't like the engine that much anymore. 2, my favorite part of making games is the programming. And 3, the engine's just too restrictive and difficult to use for what I want to do. If you've ever tried to make action combat in Rpgmaker, you'd understand. 5,000 hours in that engine was more than enough. I will be copying a few things from Rpgmaker like the event system and switches, but that's only because they're super easy to work with, and translating them over to Godot won't be that difficult. While Bits works out the story, I continue to design the core gameplay. I got attacking and moving, a basic inventory system, yada yada, all the boring stuff that makes a video game a video game. For the UI, I was inspired by one of the best, worst RPGs of all time, Super Hydlide on the Sega Genesis. Now, I didn't grow up with the Sega Genesis, I'm Gen Z after all, but I always found the system to be pretty sick. And Super Hydlide is one of the weirdest RPGs I've ever played. It's super modern in certain areas and so archaic in others it'll make you vomit. The graphics look like spit and the music is so good. It's a fractured experience. It's weird but so fun. I hate it and I love it so much. So for a lot of the UI and general gameplay, I'll take inspiration from what worked in Super Hydlide and ignore all the stuff that absolutely didn't work, like the weight system. The 2 hardest things about developing this game so far wasn't the programming, or the design, or the UI, it's been the art and music. This game is far from anything I've done before. I usually make 3D games and boom bap and electronica, so basically the exact opposite of what this game is. I don't think the art's particularly good, but I sure am trying my hardest. For the music, I just sat in my room for a week to study the greats, like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and Super Hydlide again. I have a long way to go, but it sounds good enough. I do have some experience with pixel art, but it's been pretty tough, especially dealing with animations. I probably could have fit a few more frames in there, but I'm mostly trying to make this as easy on myself as possible. My boy Bits made the logo for the game, and some cool art. He's way more talented than I am. So, shout out. After a week of work, it was finally starting to look like an actual video game. It's beautiful in an unfinished house kind of way. I mean, you can attack stuff, grab stuff, it's basically finished. Slap an $80 price tag on it and ship it to PS5. I'm sure it'll be game of the year. Let's talk about the code. Since I'm using Godot, I decided to use GDScript. I love C# syntax way more, but I feel like the quick iteration GDScript allows will be better for the project earlier on. Plus, using C# with Godot feels kinda clunky. It could be because I haven't worked with it a ton, but it's just a smoother experience overall to use GDScript. I try to keep a clean code base, but in the beginning it was getting pretty disgusting. I've been un-yandere deving my code every few days. You know the saying, make it work, make it right, make it fast. I'm at the make it work stage at the moment, so I'm not really concerned with keeping the cleanest code. I'll refactor later on. Now I mentioned earlier that I would copy a few things from Rpgmaker, like the event system. Well, the event system in Rpgmaker is amazing to work with. Building out cutscenes and gameplay with it was one of the most enjoyable parts of working with the engine. It just clicked with me. And recreating that system in Godot would make my life so much easier. So I set to work. I created a base event class and event action class. Then I can just create new event actions that inherit from the class, like spawning a text box and moving a character. Because Godot uses a child-parent structure, it makes building the event way simpler. I add event actions as children of the event and then loop through them, activating each one and waiting for the event action to send out a signal saying, "I'm finished, next one in line, please." In hindsight, it might have been better to use resources for this, but it doesn't really matter. Now I have the best part of Rpgmaker and none of the problems that come with Rpgmaker. It's a win-win. So far, the gameplay is not set in stone, but we do have a base to build on. You play as a hero of your choosing, with full customization. You can level up however you'd like, increase your skills to equip new armors, etc. I wanted to avoid having a pre-made main character like Titus or Cloud, so it'll be more like a Skyrim character. Except he or she won't be silent. Your main character will have a personality of their own, but you can make choices in the story yourself, and build them to be however you want. For example, dialogue may change based on your character's race, or if you have a certain amount of skill in magic. I've always enjoyed RPGs where you can make your own character, like Dragon's Dogma, so I wanted to incorporate that into Evosky. Speaking of dialogue, Bits is doing all the writing. He's way better at that than I am. So how does it compare to the Rpgmaker game? Well, the graphics aren't stock Rpgmaker, the dialogue wasn't written by a child, and it doesn't have turn-based combat. So overall, New Evosky wins by all of the points. Thank you so much for watching, like and subscribe for more nerd shit.